service here, but at least now we've seen manifest.json is the overall configuration of the Chrome extension.
All day, all night, viva la fiesta, viva la noche, viva los DJs. I couldn't believe what I was living, so I called my friend Johnny and I said to him, Johnny, lo gente está muy loca.
I try to believe that you may be interested in this project, and it may help you develop new features for your next projects. One of the advantages I found myself when built this project was that I learned how the JavaScript works. On the moment I tried to build it, I had nil experience in JavaScript. So it took some time to figure out things and how to make this project even more efficient. During the learning process of trying to build stuff from nothing, channels that helped me to learn fast were Web Dev Simplified. Especially, I like the type of videos where you learn something in n minutes. And the second channel is the Coding Train, that taught me the basic concepts of Chrome extension. Also, it showed me how the communication between content, background, and pop-up scripts work. Also, I think there is no need to explain how the Translator 4.2 works, because it would take a lot of time, but don't be upset because in the video end I'll show you how to build simple translator extension yourself. Also, it has less code than in the latest version, and this means that it is easier to understand. Now I'll quickly show you how to use the extension. Let's press Alt plus Y. Let's imagine what word we need to translate. For example, cat. The source language is English and target is English, so there is no difference in translation. Let's change it to, for example, Chinese. I don't understand what is written here, but I believe it is Chinese. Let's make the translator say it.
Mao. 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 Mao.
Okay, I understood. And the source?
Cat. Cat.
Okay, these features work. Let's continue with dictionary. You can open and close it just like that. It is easy, so for example, we need to find definition of hello. The definition used as greeting or to begin a phone conversation, and etc. Yeah, I believe it's correct. Also, this API, which provides a dictionary request, is free and doesn't require you to register at all. One of the features that I like the most in this extension is that I don't have to use mouse anymore. For example, let's press Alt plus Y again and start typing any word you want that comes into your mind. For example, forest. And you need to search for the word forest in YouTube. It is easily done by pressing tab. As you can see, the Google icon gets selected, but I want YouTube, so I have to press second time tab. Press enter. And the YouTube is opened, and I didn't even have to Google it, just 2 clicks. But if you count tabs, yeah, it's like 4 clicks, but it's faster than making a new tab, searching for word and press on YouTube video. It also requires you to use mouse, which in this case you'll use only keyboard, and it is way more faster. Also, you can use it on other websites such as Google or GitHub. For example, screen recorder project, and let's search for on GitHub. So as you can see, there are searches with phrase screen recorder project. To access Microsoft API, you need to make a subscription. Luckily, it doesn't require any credit card info, so press subscribe. It will redirect you to registration page. You can choose any of these options. When it is done, on the home page will be option Manage and View Usage. You can click on Endpoints to show you the sample of simple request to API. For example, here, Xrapid API key. It is pasted for me, so you can copy it and then paste it to content and popup.js. There is an additional way how to access your API key. Just press Manage and View Usage. The new tab is being opened, and on the left side you can see default application that contains some random numbers. You need to click on it. Down below is an option Security. Press. And now you need to copy API key. But first you need to press on I icon and then copy it. Now that you gathered the API key, you need to paste it inside content and popup.js. Let's find those two. For me it's placed on D drive, and the folder where it's placed is called Translator 4.2. It is current version for me, but in the future will be newer builds with more features. Let's open content. First you need to right click on it and find option Open with Notepad. You need to paste your API key between the quotes. Ctrl S, and now you can close it. Next is pop-up. You need to do the same thing. Open with Notepad and find API key. Also, it's the same on third line. Paste between the quotes. Ctrl S and close. And the last step will take around a minute to accomplish. First, you need to open Chrome and type Chrome://extensions. You need to load your extension, but there is no such option. This means that you have to enable developer mode. New options added, and you need to choose Load Unpacked. Find the folder where extension is placed. Also, it is extremely important that you stay in the main extension folder. Do not go to icons and then press select folder. As you can see, the extension added successfully. There is no errors. Now, as I promised, I will show you how to create your own translator extension. For it to be done, you first need to create a folder. You can name it whatever you want. For example, my translator. Now we need to go inside of it and create two files, content.js and manifest.json. As these two files are created, we need to open them using whatever text editor you have. But if you don't have one, just right click on it and open with Notepad. As you can see, I've added some code to manifest.json. This code is required for extension to exist. Let's try to analyze it. First comes curly brackets, it's necessary, and then goes name, which is optional, as well as description, the version, and it should be numerical. Then comes the manifest version, and it's extremely important that you choose the correct version. In my case, it's second, but recently I found out that manifest version 3 exists, and if you try to build your old extension on manifest version 3, most likely it won't work because it's a newer version and it changed the structure of code, so be careful. Then goes the content script. It is used to add the location of content.js. JS stands for JavaScript, and matches all URLs. Basically what it means is when you visit YouTube or Stack Overflow, the extension will work. But if you instead of all URLs write google.com, it will work only on Google website. So that's basically all there is. Now we need to edit the content.js. Again, open with Notepad. And for this example purposes, I recommend you to console log hello world, my first extension. Click save, and on the right is opened Chrome. You need to type in your search bar Chrome column / extensions, and you will get similar page. Most likely, if you haven't tried to build extensions yourself, the developer mode is disabled. Just click on it. Now the new options added, and you need to click on load unpacked and select the destination folder. For me it's my translator. Select. As you can see, extension successfully loaded because there are no errors. If there would be any error, it would be red color. Now let's test it. For example, let's go to Stack Overflow. Press F12 on your keyboard or right-click your mouse and inspect. Currently it's on Elements tab, but you need to change it to Console. As you can see, there are a lot of errors, colored red, but it's not our extension because it consists only of one line, and most likely it's the other extensions that bother. Or it's the website that logs information inside. And let's try it on other website, maybe YouTube. Let's press inspect or F12 again. As you can see, there are still some other errors, but it's the errors from the website, not the extension. You can see, again, hello world, my first extension. But if you open a new tab and try to inspect, you don't see anything in your console. That's because some websites or even Chrome browser can restrict the usage of extension. On some websites, extension gets blocked and you can't really create a workaround. Now I'll edit the content script in that way so it could translate text right in front of you. I'll be right back in a few minutes, but for you it's like 3 seconds. Now the time has finally come and let's take a look at the code. I'll open it in Visual Studio Code IDE. Also, IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and it has a lot of features, but the most useful ones, code auto-completion and syntax highlighting. First, let's try to test it so we could understand code better. Only at first, add your API key so that extension could work. Again, I showed how to get API key earlier in the video. Since changes to the code were made, you need to refresh the extension. And let's try to test it. Open a new tab. Let's go, for example, to Wikipedia. Cyberpunk. Open and translate the phrase exploring. As you can see, text is translated to other language, in this case to SK. SK stands for Slovakian. Also, you can try to change it to other language, for example to Russian. Just add RU, and again, since the changes were made, we need to refresh the extension and refresh the current page we are testing on. Again, select exploring, and it successfully translates to Russian. Now, let's split the code into 2 steps. First, get selected text and send it using XHR request. This section of code is responsible for the first step. And the second step is to handle the response from Microsoft API, and if it's received, replace the selected text. For the second step is responsible XHR event listener on ready state change. Also, code contains variable pref, which works as a restore point. When text is selected, press anywhere on the page with your mouse, then the text will get restored to the original state, and variable pref just stores the source text. Now let's get started with the first step. We need to create an event listener on mouse up that will handle all the mouse clicks. Therefore, when mouse is pressed, check the selection. And also add if statement, which checks if selection is collapsed. If it is, then we will use variable pref to restore it to the original state. Otherwise, make a request that will ask API for translation. Also, this API request function is really basic. It accepts 3 arguments: text, target, and source. Probably source won't be used as much as the auto detection feature, and by default the API enables auto detection. So source is used in this type of cases where you're sure that the language is, for example, Italian. If it's not, it would be better to use the auto detection. There would be less mistakes in translation. And now let's go to the second step, in which we handle the response. First, we create event listener on ready state change that gets the JSON object from the API. Also, this JSON object contains multiple translation properties, but the one we need is only the translated text. Some of these properties contain accuracy, the language detected, and some more. But for now, we will need only the translated text. And the next thing we do is we check if the length of the selection is more than 0, then variable pref gets assigned to window get selection to string. As you can see, first it saves state to variable pref, and only then it replaces the selected text. Function replace selected text is really basic, and you can find more depth explanation on the Stack Overflow. And let's make a quick recap. First, we handle the mouse events in which we get the selected text. Also add condition checking whether the selection is collapsed. If it is, then restore the text value, otherwise make API call. API call function accepts 3 arguments, and you don't really have to change anything in there. After API call is made, we need handler, which is on ready state change, event listener. Inside of it, we parse JSON response object, and from all available properties, pick the translation. Then use function to replace selected text. Also, it's not necessary to replace text. There are plenty of examples in the web of how to inject HTML. For instance, in the latest version of Translator, I have added the HTML injection, which shows translation inside the tooltip bubble. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.